Three men enjoying a card game at home are interrupted by two armed men demanding their money and valuables. In November 2023, CCTV footage from a residential garage in the United States captured three men seated around a card table, enjoying a casual game. Without warning, two hooded men stormed in, drew a firearm, and ordered the three men to freeze, demanding their phones, keys, and money. As one man began emptying his pockets, one suspect struck him across the head with his firearm. This blow sparked an immediate response from all three men, who fought back fiercely. The suspects, caught off guard by their resistance, abandoned the robbery and fled. Authorities later arrested two suspects. During a robbery, remain calm, comply with demands, and contact authorities immediately. Avoid confrontation, as it can escalate the situation further. A customer pulls a weapon and tries to open the cash register, but the cashier pounces on him, and a struggle ensues. In February 2022, CCTV footage from the Philippines captured a store where a customer was communicating with the cashier. Suddenly, the customer pulled out a weapon, went to the cashier's area, and attempted to subdue the cashier. After taking the cashier's phone, he tried to reach the cash register. The cashier, noticing the robber's inattentiveness, seized the opportunity and pounced on him. A struggle ensued, but the suspects managed to steal the cashier's cell phone and escape, halting the operation. If a robbery occurs, remain alert and look for opportunities to defend yourself or alert others. Fighting back may stop the robbery, but always report the incident to authorities to prevent future harm. A man walks into a local shop armed and begins threatening staff, unaware that those inside are prepared to intervene. In June 2024, CCTV footage from a family-run shop in the United Kingdom showed a calm afternoon as staff served customers. Without warning, a man entered, brandishing a firearm and threatening the staff, causing immediate panic. However, one of the individuals inside reacted quickly, leaping over the counter to confront him directly. Other customers rushed in to help, surrounding the suspect and managing to bring the situation under control before it escalated. Authorities arrived shortly after and recovered the firearm. During a robbery, remain calm, comply with demands, and contact authorities immediately. Avoid escalating the situation and ensure everyone's safety first. A family walking along a quiet street in Brazil has an unexpected encounter with two armed men on a motorcycle. In August 2023, CCTV footage from a quiet street in Brazil captured a man, his wife, and their young child walking peacefully along the road, unaware of the danger approaching. Two armed men on a motorcycle drove past the family before suddenly stopping, drawing firearms, and demanding money and valuables. The suspects didn't anticipate that the man was an off-duty police officer. He reacted quickly, drawing his own firearm and firing defensively. The two suspects immediately sped off on their motorcycle to flee, with the officer pursuing them on foot. During a robbery, remain calm, comply with demands, and contact authorities immediately. Avoid putting yourself or loved ones in further danger. A friendly reminder: kindly like and subscribe to our channel. Thanks a lot. A man sitting in front of a store instantly disarms a robber who approaches a customer with a weapon. In January 2022, CCTV footage captured the front of a store where a man sat. Another man, approaching from across the street, came toward the store, armed with a weapon, and attempted to rob a customer who was coming out with his family. The sitting man immediately noticed the threat and responded swiftly. He tactically disarmed the robber, engaging in a physical struggle until the robber fled. The robbery attempt was stopped before it could escalate. In situations where you're at risk, acting quickly and decisively can protect you and others. If you are able, disarm and stop the robber, but always contact law enforcement afterward to ensure the situation is resolved safely. Three armed men storm into a supermarket demanding money, unaware that the shop owner behind the counter is equally armed. In September 2024, CCTV footage from a supermarket captured a peaceful moment as the owner completed a transaction. Suddenly, 3 armed men burst through the entrance, with one suspect drawing a steel and pointing it directly at the owner, demanding money and valuables. What the suspects didn't expect was the owner's quick thinking. He had a firearm within reach, and without hesitation, he drew it and fired defensively at the suspects. The sudden response caught the men off guard, forcing them to flee the scene immediately. During a robbery, remain calm, comply with demands, and contact authorities immediately. Avoid confrontation if possible. A masked man enters a restaurant in Mexico demanding money, then a male worker intervenes. In April 2019, CCTV footage from Mexico showed a calm environment as staff carried on with their normal duties. Without warning, a masked man entered, drew a firearm, and demanded money from the female worker at the counter. As she began to comply, a male worker nearby acted quickly, lunging at the suspect and forcing him to the ground. The worker overpowered the suspect, disarmed him, and forced him toward the exit. Unable to recover, the suspect fled empty-handed. Authorities later recovered the firearm left behind. During a robbery, prioritize your personal safety, comply with demands, and contact authorities immediately after. 3 robbers enter a clothing store, but the owner from upstairs fires defensively at them. CCTV footage captured a clothing store where 3 robbers entered with the intent to rob the manager. One robber immediately began emptying the cash register, while another started picking clothes. Meanwhile, the store owner, who was upstairs, heard the commotion and quickly came down. Upon seeing the robbery in progress, the owner fired defensively at the robbers, neutralizing the threat. 2 of the robbers were arrested, while one managed to flee the scene. The operation was halted, and law enforcement took control of the situation. If you are in a robbery situation, staying calm and taking immediate defensive action can stop the crime. If possible, try to alert law enforcement right away and ensure your safety before confronting the robbers. A young man attempts to rob a bakery in Colombia, unaware that an off-duty officer is present in the area. In June 2023, CCTV footage from a bakery in Colombia captured a calm afternoon as customers and staff went about their business. Suddenly, a young man entered, lifted his shirt to reveal a firearm, and began threatening everyone, demanding money and valuables. Panic spread quickly. What the suspect didn't notice was an off-duty police officer passing by outside, observing the situation through the storefront. The officer fired defensively from outside, hitting the suspect. The man was apprehended and rushed to a nearby medical facility, where he later succumbed to his injuries. During a robbery, prioritize your safety, comply with demands when possible, and contact authorities immediately. 2 armed men attempt to steal motorcycles from a group on a quiet street, unaware that one of the owners is also armed. In June 2023, CCTV footage from a street in Brazil captured a group of people standing beside their motorcycles, engaged in casual conversation. 2 men approached, pushing a motorcycle as if it had broken down. Without warning, both men drew firearms and demanded the group hand over their motorcycles. The group complied, stepping back to see how the situation would unfold. As one suspect moved toward a motorcycle, the owner calmly reached for his firearm and fired defensively at both men. The suspect with the motorcycle dropped it and fled. The second suspect was caught and brought down on the spot. During a robbery, remain calm, comply with demands, and contact authorities immediately. A car parked by the road is approached by a biker who threatens the driver with a weapon, but the driver fires defensively. CCTV footage captured a moment when a car was parked by the road. A motorcyclist riding very close to the car, parked near the driver's window, pulled out his weapon and threatened the driver, demanding valuables. The driver, however, was armed and responded quickly. He fired defensively at the robber, neutralizing the threat and halting the operation. The robber was left neutralized, and the situation was resolved. If you are threatened by an armed robber, Your safety is the priority. Defend yourself if possible and alert authorities immediately. Always stay aware of your surroundings, especially when in vulnerable positions. A staff member intervenes as an armed man storms into a convenience store demanding money from a female colleague. In July 2022, CCTV footage from a convenience store in the United Kingdom captured a quiet evening as staff went about their duties. Suddenly, a man entered, pointing a firearm at a female employee behind the counter and demanding cash. A male staff member, who had been mopping nearby, saw the situation unfold and immediately reacted. He grabbed the suspect from behind and placed him in a headlock. Despite being struck twice with a bottle, the staff member held firm. Eventually, the suspect broke free and fled the store empty-handed. He was later identified and arrested. During a robbery, prioritize your personal safety and contact authorities immediately. A man attempts to rob a convenience store, unaware that the staff inside are prepared to take matters into their own hands. In February 2024, CCTV footage from a convenience store in the Philippines captured a calm afternoon as staff attended to their duties. Suddenly, a man approached one of the employees, drew a firearm, and demanded access to the cash register. The employee complied, opening the till as the suspect moved in to collect the money. What the suspect didn't expect was that the store manager had been observing. As the suspect focused on the money, the manager moved in swiftly, grabbed him from behind, and the employee joined in. Together, they forced the suspect to the ground and restrained him until police officers arrived. During a robbery, remain calm, comply with demands, and contact authorities immediately. A policewoman near her parked car is approached by two robbers on a motorcycle demanding her phone. She fires defensively. In March 2023, CCTV footage captured a woman near her car parked on a side road in a quiet neighborhood area. A motorcycle with two men rode past her and then circled back, announcing a robbery and demanding her cell phone. The woman, however, was a police officer, and she quickly reacted. Drawing her weapon, she fired defensively at the suspects. During their escape attempt, the robbers dropped their motorcycle and fled on foot, leaving their operation halted. If you're confronted with a robbery, acting swiftly and defending yourself when possible can stop the crime. Always contact law enforcement immediately to ensure the robbers are apprehended. A friendly reminder: kindly like and subscribe to our channel. Thanks a lot. A man enters a clothing store pretending to be a customer, unaware that a police officer is stationed just outside the premises. In August 2022, CCTV footage from a clothing store in the Dominican Republic captured a calm afternoon as a saleslady attended to her routine behind the counter. A man entered, appeared to browse for clothing, and then suddenly drew a steel, demanding money and valuables. The lady complied, but upon checking the drawer, the suspect found it empty. He shifted attention to the clothing, taking items. Seizing the moment, the lady discreetly gestured toward the door for help. A police officer outside noticed the signal, entered the store, disarmed the suspect, and placed him under arrest. During a robbery, remain calm, comply when possible, and contact authorities immediately. A man attempts to rob a jewelry store, unaware that an employee behind the counter is licensed and armed. In February 2024, CCTV footage from a jewelry store in the United States showed a man in a red sweatshirt walking around the store for about a minute before suddenly rushing toward a display case and smashing the glass. As he attempted to steal valuables, an employee behind the counter drew a licensed firearm and fired defensively at the suspect. The suspect was caught, stumbled toward the exit, and briefly circled back to retrieve something he had dropped before fleeing the scene. Both the suspect and the employee were taken into custody by authorities and later released without charges as investigations continued. During a robbery, remain calm, comply with demands, and contact authorities immediately. Avoid putting yourself in unnecessary danger. A masked man walks into a gas station armed with a firearm, unaware that two bystanders nearby are watching his every move. In August 2022, CCTV footage from a gas station in Canada captured a calm evening as the clerk attended to normal duties. Without warning, a masked man entered, pointed a firearm at the clerk, and demanded money. What the suspect did not notice was that two bystanders were present and had been watching the situation unfold. The two men moved in swiftly, grabbed the firearm, and wrestled it out of the suspect's hands. They restrained him on the spot and held him until law enforcement arrived and took him into custody. During a robbery, remain calm, comply with demands, and wait for the safest opportunity to alert authorities nearby. A bakery owner fights off a man with a steel who tries to steal the cash register, preventing his escape. In February 2023, CCTV footage captured a bakery store where a man armed with a steel confronted the owner. He jumped over the counter and attempted to steal the cash register. The owner, however, refused to comply, and a tense struggle ensued. The owner fought the robber off while screaming for help, preventing him from taking any money. As the robber tried to flee, she held him back, refusing to let go, even after he dropped the cash. The robber finally freed himself and fled, but not before the operation was halted. In a robbery attempt, resisting can help stop the crime, but always ensure your safety first. If you can, fight back and never let go of the situation until help arrives. A worker unloading empty gas cylinders from a truck throws one defensively at a robber who pulled a weapon. CCTV footage captured a truck parked in front of a premises. A man who had just gotten off a motorcycle approached and pulled out his weapon, attempting to rob people who had just gotten out of the truck. A worker unloading empty gas cylinders from the truck noticed the situation and quickly picked up one of the cylinders, throwing it defensively at the robber. The robber, startled by the action, fled the scene. The getaway bike escaped, and the robber ran off, halting the operation. If you're in a dangerous situation, using nearby objects to defend yourself or others can be effective. Stay calm, act swiftly, and always contact law enforcement afterward to ensure the robber is caught. A group of armed men ambushes two men arriving home in a parking garage who appear to have been tracking them. In December 2024, CCTV footage from a parking garage in Brazil showed a man and his passenger arriving when two vehicles pulled up swiftly behind them. Armed men stepped out, pointing firearms at the pair and forcing them out of their vehicle. One suspect climbed into the Hilux, trying to drive it out, but found the exit blocked by their own cars. As the suspect reversed, he collided with his accomplice and one of the victims. Startled by the chaos, the suspects abandoned the Hilux, retrieved their injured accomplice, and fled. During a robbery, remain calm, comply with demands, and contact authorities immediately. A friendly reminder: kindly like and subscribe to our channel. Thanks a lot. Two armed men attempt to rob a local shop, unaware that the cashier behind the counter is not willing to back down. In May 2024, CCTV footage from a local mini shop showed two men entering the premises, seemingly making regular transactions. Without warning, one drew a firearm and pointed it at both the cashier and a customer, demanding money and valuables. The second suspect moved toward the customer and restrained them while his accomplice collected the cash. Afterward, the armed man demanded the cashier's phone, but the cashier refused to comply and immediately grabbed the suspect. A fierce struggle ensued. Seeing the confrontation, the second suspect fled. After a prolonged struggle, the cashier successfully disarmed the suspect and brought him to the ground. During a robbery, remain calm, comply with demands, and contact authorities immediately.